wherever you are. Make it Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of light. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. What is up, everyone? It's your main man, Frank Castle, your sorcerer supreme here, host of Fearless every Saturday night, live on TruthFrequencyRadio.com. The best night in radio. Sitting off to my left this evening, my Etherical Translator, Paula Milo. Welcome back.
Hey, everyone.
Sorry, I get all excited and worked up in the beginning parts of the show.
And he always makes me laugh.
It's like the WWE just came in the room, right, and started kicking things around. Welcome back, everyone. It's time to get fearless. Before we start the show, though, I want to give a shout out, Chris and Cherie. Love you guys. We're about to make more magic. Because we are the magic, all of us. Maybe Paul a little bit more magical.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, she now has different animals coming for food, eating different types of food directly out of her hand. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. And what's up, Fearless family?
Yes, how is everyone tonight? You know, Frank and I are having a cup of coffee while we're doing the show. And this coffee does not taste like rhino ass. So thank you to our Fearless family and friends.
Paul is still a little upset at this comment I made during the week.
No, I'm not upset about it. I just...
It was the word rhino. I think that got it, right? I was like, where did you come up with that one? It's like Ace Ventura is where it came from.
Mm-hmm. I guess so.
When he crawled out of it.
Not bad, huh?
Sorry. So you took last week off? Yes,
I did.
How you been since then?
Changing the subject.
Well, we only get the hour, and lots of upgrades are going on.
We only get the hour, folks. We only get the hour to talk about what Frank wants to talk about. Frank, okay, I'll move it along.
No, that's not what I meant at all.
That's what you said.
I was drinking the coffee. I just couldn't bear, the more we think about it and put into that thought, the more it might start tasting like it. So, shout outs to everybody on the planet Earth, because
what about everybody else?
There's a level of commitment, and I'm to talk about this right before the show started, and we're having fun because, naturally, no, you have to, even in the seriousness of what you're discussing and talking. But it becomes your level of commitment to where you're at and why are you laughing at me while you're drinking the coffee? So your level, she won't do a podcast with me, but she'll sit down and laugh during the show right in my face.
I can't help it.
Okay,
just
so
my delicious coffee.
We have a new Bose speaker here, and it's like a small one, right? And you, whenever someone's drinking coffee or kissing, all you hear in the speakers.
Be
like, that must be delicious.
All right, I'm gonna stop. That was...
Okay, so honestly, level of commitment. We've grown from day one.
Oh, we were just talking about this before.
I know, of course.
From day one, from the day we met.
Or the day you on my journey were like step 3 or 4, right? But it was early in the journey when we met, right? For me, I had lost it all, was making the comeback, and then didn't think there was any hope at all.
Of anyone believing
Just
you about
no, there was
anything.
nothing. There was no hope, period. It was just like, meh. And then I really thought I was going to become some weirdo that was just going to grow old by myself. Like,
you really did think that?
Yeah.
Like deep down inside, you really did think that?
Who was I going to find that was going to believe this? Not that I was looking for someone to believe in what's happening to me.
No,
And like, look what I see. You don't believe me? No, that's not what I meant. I'm just someone that loves me for who I am. And then can deal with that stuff as well.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
But from where we are now, and we're only 4 years, I'm 4 years into the journey. Total.
Oh, when your journey started?
Yeah. 4.5 years max.
I'm way into this.
Right?
Yeah. It doesn't matter, though, because it's always now. And you always start right from where you are.
I just look across the table and think about us when we were like, man, we're going to do this. We're going to talk about this stuff, and we're going to help introduce it. And I remember that, too. There was a level of commitment that we had to make to do this.
Using, what is that called? Evernote? We were using Evernote.
I still use it.
All the notes down, remember?
Mm-hmm. I still do that.
Yeah, no. But you remember that night? It was like one long night when we just opened up Evernote and we just started
we piled
out
stuff
the ideas
in,
and then putting links there and trying to connect people. Not even connect people there, but just trying to make a short list of people that would believe us.
Or that we can talk to without. Like, I don't need you to believe me. I need you to hold space for me to say what I have to say.
Right.
Whether you believe me or not doesn't really matter. It's when the message comes out, it'll make perfect sense, right? So you don't have to. That's why we talk. I didn't mean you, by the way. I meant anyone.
I know you didn't mean.
On the base level, this stuff is Tony Robbins, self-help. On the other part of it, right? But it doesn't matter. On the other end, there's being sitting there talking to you the way Tony Robbins would talk. Hey, check this out. If you did something like this, maybe you could wake up and you could be happy and think happy thoughts instead. And then you go about your day and you push it this way. So on one end, there's that going on all the way on the other, right? We've committed to have the conversation on the two sides of the same coin. Paula, her version, and mine. Right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy wackadoo on my end. And on your end, you're living it. Like, I had to learn all this. Today you were giving me the speech about faith, right? And it was a good speech. Trust me, it was good.
Oh, yeah.
It did hit home. Mm-hmm. Because right after we spoke, right after we had that little thing go on, Jimmy called. And Jimmy said to me, this only works if you're strong enough with the push of the thought of your faith, right? So it's not going to work if you have a thought in you that doesn't believe. So it's a level of commitment. We made the commitment to each other. We made the commitment to go through the process without the show, without FearLess. Before we were prior to all that, but then along came everything else, and we committed to do that. Levels of commitment.
Well, again, even that worked because there was no resistance. So this came to fruition because during the entire process of getting this started, we did not have any resistance. There was no pushing a boulder uphill. There was no crying and screaming. It just happened. And then once it happened and we looked at each other and we went, oh my God, it happened. Once it happened, it just kept going and it built up momentum.
Yes, momentum.
Because that's what we put behind it. Those were all of the thoughts and intentions behind it that made that happen.
When someone says to you, you should try to write a journal or keep notes, it'll further progress you down the line and get you to a better place, and you laugh and say, that's stupid stuff, right? Or you should do a mantra, and by doing mantras during meditation, it'll help lock you into a frequency, but a mental frequency for yourself to allow you, when the mind is scrambled all the time and you're always busy, this narrows the bandwidth to one thing, so you could sit in the space and actually think without intrusion from all different directions. Levels of commitment, little things that you add.
now you said the Evernote thing. If you were to look at that today, and I've showed it to you before, it has my notes and the book. Jimmy and I are putting together a book, and on and on and on and on and on. It's pages and pages, and it was so many pages. It made me nauseous flipping through it, and I thought, wow, remember. And now we're talking about that first day, and I'm thinking it was so hard the day before. Then we made a committed choice at one point from that 24-hour period to the next period. We put notes on a page. To the next day, there was no longer nothing there. There was something actually there. There was so much there that I thought, wow, I got 3 weeks worth of stuff minimum just from we inserted from the night before. And I'm like, where you had nothing, now you have something. Level of commitment. Now we look, and it's to look back at the first one is to like look at the first wave ever generated. It's like you almost can't go back that far. You're like, well, that's pretty far back, man. And you have all this stuff, 10% a week, levels of commitment.
Well, it's even like the way you used to talk about your music. You know, you grow as the situation grows.
Life is a commitment.
Your music,
everything.
Even evolved since you've been doing this.
Everything, no, but everything, when you make the commitment, everything evolves. Mm-hmm. Life is a commitment. Someone just wrote, life is a commitment. Yeah, life is a commitment. You make it on the other side, then you get here, then not you personally, but people choose to do whatever, right? You have the free will to sit there and do nothing, or have a level of commitment to something or anything, a belief system, a structure, something, right? And then you commit to it to get you up out of your chair every day. What happens when you lose that? So you make your commitment to life, then come here and then lose that commitment somewhere because there's no magic here. You're in a world where people are telling you what you can and can't do, and it goes all the way down the line. You're breaking 20 laws just before you had your coffee in the morning and you didn't even realize it.
Well, we were talking about that too earlier. You know, people, you can change your life at any time.
Any moment.
When things get, like we have, and I want to thank all of the listeners. And, I love our listeners, and I love our Fearless family, and I love our Fearless family that are friends on Facebook. And if we talk about Facebook too much, I'm sorry, but that's the way we communicate.
That's our go-between.
It's the only way that we can all communicate. So I know there are a lot of Fearless fans that don't want to be involved in Facebook or answer the questions and join the groups or anything like that, and that's totally fine also.
That's still good.
But there are so many people that have taken action. I mean, Robert Hawley, he's been doing an excellent job with the meditations, keeping the meditations going every day. And,
You're very low. Get into the microphone.
More. I think it's my mic. I mean,
You're maxed out, Paula.
All right, I have to talk about it. Robert Hawley, he's been picking up the meditations. He's been doing a great job. People love to hear what he has to say. He gives tips of the day, and all of it's interesting. And again, you take what you need, you take what you need and you move on, and it was nice for you because you got to take a break from the meditations for a while, give someone else a chance to get their message out.
Yes. And it's those who step up with the level of commitment. Speak. Just give me a quick mic check, Paula.
1 2 1 2.
You got to speak louder than that into the microphone.
1 2 1 2.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay. Thank you, chatting folks. Okay. Just let me know if you can't hear me.
Yeah. So levels of commitment. I had to, through messages that I received on my own journey. You guys try to understand we're ascending together as a team, but some people are just not prepared, and some people are. The level of commitment. Now, my brother would say something to me like, I can't commit to any of that because I have a wife and kids, and I have a job and all this other crazy stuff, and it's very difficult. And I say, level of commitment, you should be working on that with your family. Like, you're not supposed to go outside of your family to look for that stuff. You're supposed to be it in your family. So it's level of commitment. You can commit to 5 minutes of meditation. Because if you can't, you need to commit to an hour.
Yes, because people don't understand. It just takes moments out of your day to just think a different way. And if he can start thinking slightly differently, he can get his entire family on the same page that he's on, and then everything can run smoothly because We did it. You and I did.
I only use my brother's example because I'm the example. So it's never anything bad. It's just
exactly. But I'm saying
two sides of the coin again.
It is.
He's still going to ascend and go through his process.
Absolutely.
It's just going to take
at his pace.
At his pace and at his time. Okay, so level of commitment. There's a lot of us here. There's over 3,000 people listening right now. Level of commitment, right? They join us each week. We run at that level. We're all running as a group. Now, out of that level of commitment, do you think that bearing the light is only about holding love light? This is and don't take the way I asked that question to that I gave you the answer with it, because it's not. No, that's not what I was trying to do.
No, it's more than that.
What? Okay, this is what I was going to do. I want to ask you specifically, Paula, Milo, like, what do you think carrying the light is? Because a lot of beings think that it's just all about love, throw love at it, and everything will go away. But as we know in the parking lot in Costco, that it's not always all love light.
Oh, no, Paula is not always all love light.
But is there anything wrong with that?
No.
As holding the light is, I make jokes. I always tell light workers, get to work, because they're busy holding flowers. Hold on. Because they're busy judging people that say the F word and don't feel like you're not throwing enough love into this world. Meanwhile, they don't even know what you're doing, and you're just watching them hold flower, hold space for a few minutes, and then go back to regular life. Like it's like go to church, hold on, and then say your give your confession, and then go back to doing the same stuff. Right. So who's getting what level of commitment? Right. No judging. It's just level of commitment. Right.
But that's what it should be.
But it's not only holding the light.
But it is holding the light. It's holding the light for as long as you can, and giving love as long as you can. No one is perfect. And, we talked about this earlier too. There are some days when the day is just not going the way you want, and you literally have to go hour by hour. I've been in that situation. Frank, I'm okay. Just give me another hour. And then after that, I can move on to another hour, and it does get better and better. But there are days when it's very difficult, and then other days you just wake up filled with purpose, and exactly what you need to do. You fixed it, right? It was
your gain was completely down. Sorry about that.
I told you.
I just turned the knob and boom.
Yeah. Okay. I told you it wasn't me. It was the mic. But no one listens to Paula. It's okay. But that's how it is. You can only be the best you can be as long as you can be. All you have to do is be.
Yeah, you'll go through it by just being.
Yes.
But level of commitment, where do you want to be on that?
It depends on how I feel that day. Some days I feel more committed than others. I'm not going to lie. I am not going to say anything that I wouldn't say to you off the mic. I wouldn't say here. Because if I can't say it here, I can't say it anywhere. And there are days when I tell you, there are days I want to check out all the time. I just don't want to. I want to unplug and not be part of the system.
I completely.
And that's exactly how I feel. I don't want to be part of the system. I don't want to move from the spot on the couch that I'm on, because that's what I need to do today. That's what Paula needs to do today. And once that's completed, or once I get through that moment in time, another moment in time looks a little better.
One of the things that was explained to me today during a channeling session was that you specifically go through it the opposite way of me.
Oh, yeah. Explain that to them. I got it. Explain that to them.
So Paula and I are it's a coin, has two sides, heads and tails, right? We complete that circuit, her and I. But inside of that means that the all must exist within the all. So I have to have the all going in me, and she has to have it all going in her. But she is going to go through the process in a completely different way, different experience, different feelings, different attitudes, different adjustments, different levels of commitment. Wait, and she could sit on the couch and go through that process where the disconnection, right, which is basically a giant daily meditation.
But I do all of my light work on the other side. You do all your light work here in the earthly, in the now, in the day-to-day.
Yes.
That's fielding phone calls, helping people through their situations, clearing things up for people, explaining what they've actually seen and what it means and how to interpret it. And, I mean, you help so many people every day with things like that, questions that they have. I mean, this is new to everybody, but Frank has been through a lot of it. So there are a lot of people that have things in common or, that can't possibly believe it could be so until they believe it can be so. And then they need it explained because it's overwhelming.
Right. It is very overwhelming. Definitely, for sure. And the responsibility of just taking care of yourself in your own.
But that's where Frank and I are very different. Like we cross, like we're two ships that cross in the night, because like I sleep all night and Frank has a very hard time sleeping at night, but he'll sleep during the day. And it's like we can never 100% get on the same schedule. And I think that's because of the work that we have to do. And a lot of that work is spiritual work.
Yes.
You don't even know you don't know a lot of it's happening.
And it's wild because in the beginning, and I was telling Jimmy this, a lot of times everything's a demon in the beginning, everything's crazy. One of the things Chris and I discussed when I got back when Paul and I was going to say back together, but that after lifetimes,
yeah,
how to accent that statement. I was telling Chris, I keep going under and they keep showing us as cat beings. Right. And we're sleeping in shifts because we're being abducted. And then they were going, that's the reason why you almost like when you wake up, like I'll lay in bed for an hour with you and then you'll get up and start the cat will do this, and your little day starts and then you're out here and then it's 6 a.m. already and things are going. And I'm going, oh, now it's safe for me to sleep. It's just the weirdest feeling. But now that we're here, we're actually two sides of the coin.
Well, we didn't know. We didn't know that's why it was happening.
The sun comes up over here, goes down over there, the moon comes up, and then this perfect rotation. And
I like that we share information because, like, you are on the phone with a couple of people today sharing information. Not everybody has a piece of this puzzle, so when we have a community of people that we can talk to about these things. Sometimes other people get the message for us.
Right.
Hey, put Paula on the phone. She needs to hear this now.
Oh, you're going to be getting quite a bit of that, by the way.
Put Frank on the phone. He needs to hear this now.
I was brought into a ceremony today via, and I can't over talk about this. Don't worry. I know exactly what to say. It was on speakerphone, and I was talking with Bashtar, who was being channeled through a really good friend. And I was talking, and then we were laughing, talking, and then his voice completely changed.
Right.
100% changed. And I was like, yo. And then message after message after message. And I'm going, oh, wow. And I thought today was going to be just, a
light day.
A light day. It's never light, really.
Mm-hmm. Spiritually,
it's never, ever light. So I chose this level of commitment because I don't know. When they showed it to me, they were like, you were almost atheist in every thought.
But I think the way that you execute, I think that the way that you receive the messages and the way that you send out the messages and you communicate with other people, I think this is the perfect fit for you. To see the fantastical things and to get the messages and then to have to dissect them and call people and talk about the messages.
But here's the thing.
But I think that suits your personality.
We haven't been off the mark yet.
For us.
But, all right, so yes, but we're working with others.
Yes.
So it's hitting the mark within us, or whatever's connecting to us is not a failure. And has not, all right, there's always questions, and people are like discerning, but not enough. You need to actually ask more questions to everything. But the messages have not steered, and they're not messages like, oh, Frank gets a whisper in his ear. I'll see it and go this. We have a choice. We can go this way or this way. You could still screw it up. You could choose to have a level of commitment that's so low that you just don't give a shit. Right? But I care. When they showed me the recycling machine on the soul recycling machine on the moon, I went on Kev Baker's show and spoke about this. I went from the Watchtower guy with Heist Click to this dude. All right. It was wild. I said, you don't know what I saw. When we come back from break, Frank's going to tell us what he saw on that side of the moon. And I said, I saw a recycling machine where you cannot break free of this matrix. And I think somewhere over there is when I was committed to the whole thing 100% spiritually, in full belief and gnosis. I went over there, tried to stop it. I attacked the being that was there. I talked about this. I attacked the machine. They said, don't touch the machine. You're going to hurt people. I says, we have to do this. Now, from that point on, it was up to me to find my way through everything.
In your life.
In my life.
Yes.
And my level of commitment shot through the roof.
But that's all we can do is navigate through our own lives. That's the hardest part of living your life, is navigating through it. So many decisions to make. So many different ways it can play out, because they're all playing out now anyway. It's the path you want to take now.
Right. And you choose to make that path the way you want it to make, right? Like you want to see it a certain way. And it takes time to manifest that.
Sure.
Right. But you choose to take that path.
Sure.
That level of commitment that it takes to keep that path alive.
Good or bad. And we talked about this before, too. You make your life. Everything that happens in your life is because you manifested it, good or bad. And it's very harsh to say that, but it's true. So all the bad and terrible things that happened in my life, yes, I was a part of manifesting that. I was the one who created my life. It unfolds as you create it.
And you're correct in the chat room. Nothing is a failure.
No, nothing.
You find a way to just figure out that success the way you want it will not be down that road.
Yes.
So we're going to just take a different path. And you'll never have that issue again because you'll be in the know. For your protection from deception. And I'm Sorcerer Supreme, and you're Etherical Translator, Paula Milo. And this is FearLess. FrequencyRadio.com.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR. Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world. Thought you were alive until you felt my pain.
And I was worried for a second. Everybody, check out IamWeAreFearLess.com. Shameless plug right now. Go to the website, read about some of the stories.
And buy a t-shirt.
Buy a t-shirt. Support the...
Yeah, support the radio station. Get a subscription. There's one in every price range. The money goes to run the station, and some of it actually goes to us.
Right. And
so get one.
You get every single host show.
Yeah.
All the back
and the
catalog.
Archives, which is cool.
And you could download it too. There's a download.
Oh, you can?
Oh yeah, there's a download button. So you could literally sit there, get a month subscription, download everything, and then just drop the subscription and go, I have every show, bro. You can do that. I'm not against it. I don't care. That's a lot of hours.
You almost slipped.
That was funny. Definitely funny. So this week a lot of as part of a lot of internal events that have kept me from my FearLess group, from doing group meditations.
Yeah, you had a rough week this week.
It's not even rough week. It's UpGrades, right? We had a full moon. The cats were freaking out in here. I was at the last weekend I spoke about being the guy. Right now, I want you guys to hear this because I didn't get a chance to talk about it the way I wanted to. I told Jimmy this, and at first he was like, hey, look, stuff happens, right? And I'm like, yeah. And then I told him again when he was kind of in a different mood, and he was like, oh, man, that's kind of rough. So I had met Space Jesus yet again, and he was clearing me with this energy. He was shooting at me, and he tells me that I'm the guy that stabbed him afterwards when I was asking him if I was one of the apostles.
One of the men that stabbed him, not the guy that stabbed, like one of the men that stabbed him.
Oh,
okay. Not that makes it any better, but you know.
No, but so prior to that, using my discernment, I was standing there stabbing him with my light sword, trying to see if that was him. And he was looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just checking, bro, just to see the situation that happened." And I felt terrible. I screamed and freaked out.
I know you did, but what are you
going to do? That's right.
What are you going to do? I mean,
shackles were pulled from me after the event from Michael, right?
Of course, it was probably a lot of guilt that went with it too.
Yeah, I would say so. Knowing what I know now, so very interesting. But it always takes me multiple days to heal after actually seeing him. Like, it takes days of, like, I have to just hang out. You see me walk around, I'm dizzy.
Yeah, I
go
see
through
it.
weird spells. Well, people want to know, why aren't you doing this or why aren't you doing that? So I have to explain
because
to
Frank
them.
Is dizzy and nauseous and can't really leave the house or drive when he gets information like that. You know, it's terrible. Remember, I had to drive. We had to run errands and I had to drive.
I literally couldn't trust myself behind the wheel.
Yeah.
My legs couldn't be trusted. I was wobbling and hitting things. I mean, you kind of go down for the count. You put all out power, and then it starts to fade. And then it's like, I got to go do what I got to do because I can't do anything else. Right? Mm-hmm. When you're like, yo, I can't. Yeah. I'm not used to that. I can't do. Like, please help me. So these are the lessons that I've been pushing through. Like, I'm going to need you to drive because I need help. I'm going to need you to lift this because I'm a giant man and you're a girl that has an injury. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, you still need to lift this or lift me. I'm falling.
Yeah, but that's a love in the universe that lifts you. That's not me. It's
still fact, right?
It is what it is. I love you.
That's all coming from the spiritual stuff. This is what we're getting at, right? Because the story is what's important. Right? Mm-hmm. No bueno or bueno?
No, it's good. It's good.
I've been practicing my Spanish. So during this time...
No, he hasn't.
I screamed at this kid in the car last night. I said, perfecto. And he goes, you speak Italian? We need to talk. Perfecto. And I went, I thought I was speaking Spanish. And I'm Italian, though. But it was just funny. It was really funny. But so during this time, I can't... No, I got to watch how I talk now because it's not going to come out correctly, Etherical Translator.
So take a second.
When I reach into a group of people to try to work with everyone, but I'm going through my upgrade, no one's going through my kind of upgrade.
No, of course not.
Right? So
because it's unique to you.
So I can't, like, help someone else. But hold on. Energy will reach out for that assistance. But we're at stages of no assistance unless you absolutely need it.
Say nothing, do nothing.
Right. So
when you're in that situation,
when you show up,
you can't do anything.
And it's more of a communal party for you, and everyone else's level of commitment is at like 10 or 11, and yours is like at 6, and you're coming to talk and hang out because my social life sucks or something. I can't walk you through a meditation because I'm changing. This sounds really crappy, but it's the absolute truth.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Or there's a truth behind the absolute fear. I don't want to not. I can't. I cannot.
Physically cannot
That's
do it.
like me trying to have the full science explanation with the 4-year-old.
Well, it's like here when the...
And there's nothing against that. It's just that it's levels of where we're on. So if I say something wrong during that time, it'll throw you off. If I start screaming reptilians to someone that's on like level 2 and they see the fear or something weird.
Yeah, they're motivated by the fear.
And then I screwed it for them.
But you have to understand that when the universe does not want you to do anymore, it's like you push a baby down for a nap. No, go to sleep.
Yeah, but
go to sleep, and it's like you are powerless. When the equipment doesn't work or the internet goes down, that's the universe trying to say, nope, that message is not getting out tonight. And sometimes you can't fight that.
So I've been in a chokehold with that.
But
because you know me, I want to scream, hey, everybody.
I know.
This is what I've been getting at. It's not a bad thing. It's just I want to and cannot. And I could be sitting right here with the mic in front of me, and they're going, and when I mean they, my guides and my higher self are with me all day, all night, all day, all night, right? So hearing them go, nope, not happening. And I'm like, well, I'll just talk to, let's say, one of my friends. Nope, not happening. Well, 18 questions about ayahuasca. Nope, not happening. And I'm like, why not? They're like, dude, you're in the middle of something. Yeah. Anything, you're going to be liable for something, and you're giving it away, which is fine, but they got to do the work. So if you're told them more than once and they're not putting it into play or trying to put it into play, you are wasting your time and energy.
Yeah, stop talking.
Yeah.
It's like when you originally wanted to give ayahuasca away to every the free public. Like you just wanted anyone to be able to have it, and people don't want it. They have to come and seek it. People don't say, let me do this thing that can change my life. And, they don't want it because you have to put the work in.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is, too. Like, we see this in others that are on this high level with us. Like, Chris and Cherie have taken a monster break after doing a monster thing.
Because they were drained down to zero. You have to understand what happened to them just that trip in itself is it's a very physical and emotional drain. Just coming back from a trip like that, there's a lot of information to process, let alone for the reasons that they went there. I mean, she's a tiny, tiny woman. She had to have gotten hit very hard. Like I get hit hard. She's tiny. And so
that's just physically demanding.
But it's an emotional drain as well.
That's what I was getting at. I told Chris, I says, man, how do you go to the bathroom? And he goes, in a bag. And I go, you serious? He goes, you want to get the job done? I go, so not only physically demanding, it's the exact thing that I couldn't do if I was there with you. I would be losing my mind. No, and he goes, that's why you're not here. That's why you're holding space there.
Right.
Right. And I go, so we were just making jokes and going back and forth, but I'm going, dude, that hallway you walked up, I couldn't breathe in it. He's a huge dude. And he goes, yeah, I was having a hard time too. Oh my God, when you're going up there. And I'm thinking, wow, he gave his all and then needed to come back. And multiple times he's wanted to talk to everyone. Multiple times. He's talked to me about it a few times. But even with me, he had to shy away because, and I felt it, man, he's got to replenish that energy.
But there were so many downloads that they received. Things that they're not even aware of yet.
Things none of us
there are things that are going to come out about that trip that they're not going to realize until next year. Because I'm telling you, from when I drank Aya, there are things that came out years later, a year later, 6 months later, 9 months later.
I always got to go back to my first experience.
Yeah, and it's like
from now happening from that first experience.
And it's like I just put that together from 9 months ago. I just figured that out. I just clued into why I've behaved that way for so long, or I've just realized how that has been basically directing my choices. And it's wild to put the pieces together. But for them, they were getting so much information that they're not even going to be able to decode yet.
Example of what had happened here,
right?
To a degree,
because it's the same thing. I know she's got her bag. I know I know, Roxy. It's okay. Come on,
come over and join the show, Roxy.
She's speaking her truth now.
But your energy starts to go low, and all of a sudden, your ability to teach or be a leader kind of offsets with I have to lay here and I can't move. Now, I'm watching. Around me, my awareness is taking off. See, this is the best part. Because as I'm like, well, I'm low at the moment. I'm not sick and I'm not tired. I'm upgrading.
I'm just sick and tired.
Right? So I'm down. It's like eating a lot of cannabis, right? You get when you eat too much, it just I can't move. Everything feels weird. And I'm watching everything occur. And I watch a few people come up. They commitment levels rise.
Sure.
And then because I'm not there, commitment levels fall.
But that's not your...
But I'm lurking in the background.
That's not your job.
In every one of Robert's meditations, I'm there.
Right.
I'm at every other meditation. I'm at every other thing that's going on. But I'm still only seeing Robert and Jimmy and myself. And I'm not complaining. I'm saying level of commitment. Do you internally... Now, this is just, I know you've committed to it. You're with me. You're dealing with everything on my level. Your commitment level is there on high. Frank, I need another thing to love. She looked at me and I went, whoa, something's coming. Something's big coming too, or very, very small that we're going to have to protect. And that's fine too. And what happened? We got a whole group of friends outside.
Cat living in a tree in the yard, and it's terrible.
The skunk knows me now.
I know.
He doesn't give me
the two squirrels know you too now.
Squirt me. He looks at me, and I'm like, does he want a nut too? Like, I don't even know. The squirrel runs right up to me.
I know.
The cat in the tree calls to me. I know, it's weird. The cat in the tree. We have a cat that won't come out of the tree unless nobody's outside.
She's like just living in a tree.
But when you walk by the tree, she goes, "Wah." And when I go there, she stares into my eyes and just stares deep. And I feel like she understands me. Weird things are happening. So levels of commitment, stepping up to the plate and growing into. Do you want the superpower? Do you want the telekinesis? Do you want the telepathy? Where do you fit into this? What is your position on this? Like, how do you feel internally? Are you still looking at UFO videos, trying to figure out which ones are real and which ones are fake?
How often do I tell?
Or are you trying to get the UFO to come to you? Are you the one that you found out that's with the guys in the UFO? Because most of us aren't from here anyway. What is your level of commitment? You're hearing my story, but what about your story? Is your story's level of commitment rising, or is it the same? Because this show I listened to our first episode, and I was like, damn, that was all right. But now we're at this show.
Because your level of
commitment,
understanding should be going up, and your level of acceptance should be going up, what you're accepting and allowing into your own life. I
was tired of being afraid, Paula.
Yes.
And my level of commitment became fearless.
Right.
Period. So when you're like, well, what is it, 1 to 10? I go, it's fearless.
It's fearless.
So if it was fear, it's fearless.
You said to me a long time ago, you're not afraid of anything. And I said, no, very little am I afraid of.
Yeah, you're not afraid of nothing.
Very little am I afraid of.
You're literally not afraid of anything.
It is just the way it has to be for me. I have a level of belief and an understanding that I don't know where it comes from. And it doesn't matter where it comes from, because I'm never going to get to the bottom of it. You know, I'm never going to get the right answer until I'm no longer on this planet. So for now, I'm not going to chase the answer to the question.
Level of commitment. Paula still thinks she's going to die, perhaps, and not be on this planet. Where I'm like, I'm descending and right in front of you, changing into the light being, then hitting you in the forehead with a laser beam, and you're changing to
well, you didn't
levels
say
of
laser
commitment.
Beam.
Well, I added that to make you feel better. When I'm not here anymore and I'm long gone, no, we're taking it with us this time. That's the idea of the game.
I think that if
you're tired of the same old, why are you still sitting in the same old? This is level of commitment.
Change it. If you don't like someone or the way they're behaving towards you, it's what you're putting out. So change what you're putting out. Because you should have, look, we all can't have everything that we want right now. Okay? Everyone has to pay bills, and everyone has to get through their weeks, and everyone has to do the mundane things that we all have to do. But you can do it you could do it from the place of coming from fear, while you do the same things you'd have to do every day to navigate through your life, or you can come from a place of hope.
That's what it is, though. See, the superpower comes from exactly what you said. The thought of it coming from fear, or coming from not fear, from hope,
right?
From love, from anything but fear.
Anything but fear, because as you reduce the amount of things to be afraid of, I mean, like we talked about this, Frank and the train. We live in the Bronx. You know, Frank and the sharks. We live in the Bronx next to a train station. There is no way sharks can be anywhere near here.
There's a guy I grew up with named the Shark, but
exactly. But it's an unwarranted fear. It's a fear. It's like moot. Nothing's going to happen here. So be afraid of sharks another time. Don't be afraid of sharks now. And again, that's just an example.
Your programming, your mind is wasting useless time and in programming thought.
Yes.
Thinking about something that will never occur repeatedly
over time. Now what happens is, because you thought about it repeatedly, you are now creating a consciousness for it, and then you're going to manifest it, whether you realize that or not. You worried about not having enough money. You worried about not having enough money. The universe says, well, I can't give you enough money. You worried about someone cheating on you. Well, the universe says, okay, well, I'm going to give you someone untrustworthy, someone who will cheat on you, because that's what you're calling into your universe. And that's just an example. But it's the good things too. I'm the greatest at this. I'm the best at that. Come, if you need help with that, come see me. And then you're receiving, you put it out there, and now you're receiving all the love that will come back from that.
When you taught me send love ahead, I got to the point now where I know each place I visit often, right, or even singly, whatever, from here to my house, right, and I walk back and forth. Okay, any place I visit, I send not only love ahead, I thank the over beings, whatever beings are there that run that establishment, and let them know I'm on my way, send them love and respect in advance. And as I walk in, they're like, you get that, hey, look who's here. Or they look over like, oh, all right, I'll take your order right now. Or, yeah, yo, I got this. I put it behind the counter for you. And, or like we sit down and they already know what I want.
They already know what you want to have.
Okay. I built that, and you observed me from going, no one respects me, and then me having no respect to everyone, it flipping the opposite way.
And loving you.
And
loving you.
Going a complete
But that's all it is. It's just changing the way you're thinking about the thing you want.
Changed.
That's it.
And I was trying to discuss that multiple times with people. I was trying to take it to that base
level. You
level.
just have to think it. And then you have to believe it. And then it will be so.
And it's a level of commitment to the faith.
But that's true whether it's positive or negative. So, if you're going to spend the same amount of time, let it be something that's positive. We don't talk about the negative. We don't dwell on it. We talk about it and then we move on very quickly because we do not want to create a consciousness for it. So here in the house, we don't do that.
No.
And it's hard because we have to navigate through the conversations, but it's hard. But we do not spend a long time on the negative because it's just something we don't do.
No, and people who walk in will recognize that immediately.
Oh, they'll definitely recognize it.
As I walk in from the street, it's almost like you can feel the change as the gate opens.
Oh, I know. The warmth.
Bloom.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And you're like, wow, it's just like passing through the portal to enter something that is just better. It's just better. And it's funny, going through the show, I throw everything out there. My mother's witnessed it. My grandparents witnessed it. And even my brother says, hey, man, it's weird, but it's working. Mm-hmm. Right? So I give my brother a lot of nonsense when you hear me talk about him, but he's my favorite
person in the world. I know.
Him and his children and the whole family. It's just that I'm showing where this is coming from. So there's no hate towards any one being. We're all kind of going through this at a level of commitment. Now, I want to tell you guys, Jimmy hit me up. He said to me, my mother, who lives in Guatemala.
Oh, yes. This was big. This was the other night.
I was under, and I cannot do anything about it. Can you see it, and can you remove a hex? And I answered yes before you even knew why. Let me tell you guys something. I didn't know if I could remove a hex. Frankie didn't know. I said yes, and then he's like, okay, go for it. And I'm like, nah, I can't do it like that. He goes, do you want a picture or her name? And I says, a photograph will work because I do it with Chris just by looking at the photograph, like on Skype. And I laugh. It's like going into their eyes, and then boom, you're there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he showed me her picture, and I said, nope, still not getting nothing. What's her name? He gives me her name, and once again, the surname translates to literally the lion. So I'm like,
I got this.
I just looked at her, and I can see like a Google map of her moving through her life from start to finish. And then at one point, she's not finished yet, so I didn't watch her die or anything. It looked like the little Bing on the map moving, right? The little blue head. Mm-hmm. And then I saw Jimmy being born. I saw his brothers, and I saw all these people going off in like directions, but still hanging around her. And then someone moved in on the position.
Interception.
And then there was a red light, and it shined a light on this person, and the person on this woman pushed her back a little, and there was like a resentment. I instantly felt it. I was like, okay, this person's going to be told to leave. And then a secondary light shows up, and she tries to move on with her life, and these two lights are following her around. So I roll up when they're both very close together, and I come down. It looked like a chessboard when I got down, and I seen they looked like two red poles with a red blinking light on top. Mm-hmm. I punched one but took it like, boom, come over here. Pulled it into like under my shirt. It was like open, flowing robe thing. My higher self looks weird. And then I grabbed the other one and pulled it in, and I started throwing up. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Really weird.
I remember.
And then I'm like, you can't do that. And then I turn, and there's a dude standing there, and I'm like, well, I know it was a girl doing it. Like a girl was the problem. She was like freeloading or something. I don't know. She was like absorbing stuff.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I couldn't tell, but it was not good.
Mm-hmm.
And then keeping her at bay, right? And then I said to the being, you can't be here. And I put my hand up like my grandmother, like, I'll slap you. She runs up to me. I'll give you a smack. And then didn't have to hit him, but I swung and he ran. And I said, you're clear.
Because you changed the energy.
Calls him from Guatemala. He's like, Frank, she's crying on the phone right now. And she's like, I don't know why I'm crying. And he's like, cry more, let it out.
Yeah, let it out.
And I go, once again, I didn't know. So I'm like, but I can do this. I can do other things. You told me I could clear energy with other people. Because
you believed that you could. So you
working
did.
With you. I'm like, Paula just knocks demons out of me when I first met her. She knocked everything out of me. And she continuously grounds me and protects. Pulls things out. And then I started doing, I'm like, I want to be like her. And they go, just follow what she's doing. I did that. And then you were there. Yep. When Chris asked me for help.
Yep.
And since then, we've done this
over the computer.
And she's like, Frank, just help your friend.
I was the one who said he could do it.
And I'm like, oh, are you sure? And she's like, you could do it to me. Why can't you do it for him? And I'm like, oh, let's do this. And it happened in 1 second. I sat down and looked and said, okay, let's see how this will work. And boom, it just went off.
Yep. And he purged.
I threw up. I was buggy. You ran in with the bucket. And you're like, here, let me get this for you. And today, Jimmy says to me during the channeling session when it was over, right before it ended, he goes, oh, so you're going to purge. And then I'm like, I've been crying the whole time. Yep. And then he goes, nah, I think you're going to throw up. And I went, and threw up.
Yep.
And I went, oh, come on, man.
Well, he messaged me and asked me if I was okay today. And I said, yeah, I'm doing okay.
Because these are the next steps.
Yep.
We're moving through layers that are going to take us into another round of something that hasn't been here since the very beginning. Okay? And I don't mean of our recorded history. I mean of history itself. On this planet, creators are being reborn everywhere. And we are rising. So there's this wonderful thing that's occurring, and I want to be at the forefront, the tip of the arrow, and I have been the whole time. Level of commitment. That's right. That is right. Riding the rocket ship through outer space, or like the Silver Surfer on the surfboard, riding energy waves, helping to uplift this planet. The idea is to ground yourself. You can't be that selfish where you're not at least helping Mother Earth go through the process. You got to ground to her. You got to pull that energy in. You got to be the anchor. You got to hold the light. You got to be the lighthouse in the darkness for the others that are ready for the transformation but have no clue that they live is actually occurring.
And all you have to do is start by thinking happy thoughts. That's really
just 10% a week.
It sounds so silly.
But it's not silly. If we're in Bizarro world, then this is exactly what's occurring. Right? If up is down and left is right, then you and I are right on target. High five me.
I understand.
Yeah,
that.
Give me that.
So
good
one
arm.
of our chat room folks says we're meant to be together. Because we're two weirdos.
Yeah, no, we're superheroes.
We have each other.
And we do have each other. And we got you guys. And you have us. So now it's time to be a higher level of commitment, at least to yourself. At least to your inner self, inside your home, inside your space. Become that light.
Yep.
Don't be dark. Don't be smudgy, gray looking. Be the light, nice and bright. Shine. Shine like what?
A diamond.
Shine like a star. Thanks, Jay-Z.